to The Chat, the program that takes you behind the scenes at Chatham County. I'm your host, Catherine Glaspie. It's hard to believe that with our continued cool weather, the first quarter of the year is already behind us. However, temperatures are slowly beginning to rise, the azaleas are in bloom, and the first indications of spring are just around the corner here. And what happens every spring in Savannah? St. Patrick's Day. Let's take a look at how the city of Savannah and Chatham County celebrated one of the most memorable parades in our area's history. It's that time of year again. The entire city of Savannah is beginning to change colors. Actually, one color in particular.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Green. Hundreds of people gather in Forsyth Park for the annual greening of the fountain, all in preparation for the largest event in our area, St. Patrick's Day. Several businesses and organizations spend most of the week prior to the holiday preparing for what will be the second largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the entire country. A number of Team Chatham members came together in front of the Tom J. Coleman Courthouse to assemble two of the county's 4 parade entries. One float would house the county commissioners and the other the Chatham County Youth Commission. Although the city of Savannah has been host to the world-famous parade for many years, 194 to be exact, this year's parade was extra special. The mayor's office of the city of Savannah announced it was honored to host United States Vice President Mike Pence. The Vice President viewed a portion of the parade from Savannah City Hall balcony. To the delight of many onlookers, Mr. Pence made his way down to ground level and walked a small portion of the parade, making history in the process. Further along the parade route, Team Chatham's parade entries delighted spectators young and old. The first county float was occupied by the Parks and Recreations Department. Their float consisted of a basketball goal, a miniature putting green, and a working grill. Immediately following Parks and Recreation was the county's recently reestablished police department. Police Chief Jeff Hadley walked a portion of the parade while also making time to speak with our local media.
Happy St. Patty's Day!
In line behind CCPD was the Chatham County Commissioner's float. Commissioner Stone, Commissioner Holmes, Commissioner Lockett, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Ellis waved to county residents and even had a few one-on-one encounters. Bringing up the rear for Team Chatham was the Chatham County Youth Commission. Fresh off their annual trip to the nation's capital, the teens joyfully mingled with the crowds. We just witnessed how excited members of the county's Youth Commission were to interact with the public. But many of you may not know exactly what the Youth Commission does. Well, today you're going to find out. And later in our show, you'll get to see some of their stellar acting skills on one of SEMA's training courses. But before we get to that, the Youth Commission just took their annual trip to some of the nation's oldest and most historic cities.
They're young.
See you later.
They're teenagers. And they are some of Chatham County's most productive residents. Who are these energetic adolescents? They are members of the Chatham County Youth Commission.
The Chatham County Youth Commission is a nationally recognized youth engagement program sponsored by the Chatham County Commission. It focuses on governmental youth involvement and engagement. We are among the oldest programs of its sort in the nation. 25 years ago, the Chatham County Commission heard a plea from Dr. Priscilla Thomas, who was a commissioner for District 8 at the time, to really try to find a more creative way of engaging young people and getting them involved in things happening in our community.
The Youth Commission is a well-established organization. Several prominent figures within our local community can trace their early influence back to the Youth Commission.
The Chatham County Youth Commission was born in 1992. Since then, 25 years later, over 600 graduates later, we have now youth commissioners that are in their 40s. We have judges, we have doctors, we have military officers, but most importantly, we have citizens that are active wherever they live, whatever their location is. They are engaged and active in their communities. And they have, as a starting point, many of them credit the Chatham County Youth Commission as that opportunity in which they first learned about government, where they got engaged in government, where they took trips to really connect what they were learning in school to make it real for them, whether it be on the local level, through county government, or through the state government, or through the federal government. It's been an awesome ride for these young people.
The Youth Commission is known for its annual trips. For several days, members embark on a journey up north to learn about the foundation of our country.
Chatham County youth to their federal government. And so in February or March of each year, we embark on this bus trip that is expanded from a Amtrak train ride in the snow to Washington, to now a bus ride that takes us up to New York. And the goal is really to expose them to things they have not seen before. Many of our young people, unfortunately, have never been outside of Chatham County. Many have never been outside their neighborhood. So when you take them and you see that they're looking around and now they're gaining an opinion on how other people live. Fortunately, many of them come back and say, I think I like Chatham County a whole lot better. I like Savannah a whole lot better.
No, I thought it was beneficial because, in Washington, D.C. I've been, and I just like, looking at all the monuments is really cool, but I've never been to Philadelphia, so going around and seeing all the different areas of Philadelphia was really interesting. Like, I realized that, hey, I would never want to live here.
The annual trips are more than just time off from school for these teenagers. Many of the youth commissioners are educated about history that they were previously unexposed to.
And in learning, we were able to learn so many different things. Nowadays, kids don't know anything about history. Like, let me not say kids, teenagers, the younger, current society, we don't really know anything about history, politics. We're not in that realm. So I think being able to go and physically see and touch the different artifacts and learn about the history that helped update.
So you may be wondering, what is the county's ultimate goal in sponsoring a youth commission?
And we find that when they leave us, when they graduate, they go off to college, but a lot of them now start coming back home and they help us. They work here. We have one of our magistrate judges here is the Chatham County Youth Commissioner. So we see them coming back and then helping and working within the community because they now have a stake in the community. Now they feel that they have a responsibility to come back and make things better. And I think that's ultimately what we really want to see happen. That many parents are not able to give their young people, engaging them in other ways. They start really forming who they really are. Now, admittedly, we are very, very hard on our young people. I mean, we expect a lot out of them. And they don't let us down. We tell them they need to be responsible. They need to hold Chatham County in the highest regard and know when they're in school, they're representing Chatham County wherever they are. They're representing the county and the commissioners. So it's extremely important for them to be able to carry themselves in such a way, both personally and on social media, in a way that is representative of how they want to be seen and viewed. So they approach that with seriousness. It's not easy to get on the youth commission, but once they get on it, many of them have told us that this has been among the defining moments of their lives.
The Youth Commission is a major advocate for community service. The organization requires lots of dedication and hard work. For those who are interested and are ready to take on the challenges of the Youth Commission,
the requirements are quite simple. You have to live in Chatham County. You have to be at least a rising 10th grader to a 12th grader. You have to be academically eligible to participate in your school's activities. And you have to have a good mind, a cooperative spirit, and you have to have your parents' approval to do this. We recruit through the schools. The Savannah Chatham Public School Board is a great partner to us. We also partner with all of our private, parochial, and Christian schools in our area. And we have great partnerships with them. And so we ideally take 2 individuals per school. And so if someone is interested, they need to go to their school and let their counselor know they're interested. We are actually recruiting as we speak. So we're going through it. It requires about 100 hours during the summer. They have to earn their way onto the organization. And so it's a very rigorous community service, learning environment during the summer months, so they have to be able to have the time to dedicate to that.
Here at Team Chatham, we make it a goal to recognize our team members for their outstanding performance. After the break, we'll be introducing you to the Chatham County Employee of the Quarter. And a little later, we're going to talk about hurricane season. Are you interested in learning how to properly prepare your family for an emergency? SEMA has just the course for you. All of this and much more still ahead.
No matter where your Daredevils go or what they get into, you can breathe easier because they may qualify for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and Peach Care for Kids. Even if you've applied before, your kids could still be eligible for doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and more. Get your kids covered today. Find free, local, in-person enrollment assistance for Medicaid and Peach Care for Kids. Go to coastalcampaign.org or call 912-661-1290.
Welcome back to the chat. Team Chatham is fortunate to have a wide array of talented individuals. Each of our team members plays a critical part to ensure the success of the county as a whole. Our Chatham County Employee of the Quarter is Mr. James Burton. He has earned the praise and respect of his colleagues for his unwavering dedication. And welcome to our new segment about our Employee of the Quarter here at Chatham County. At Chatham County, it wouldn't run without our team. We call it Team Chatham. So today I want to introduce you to our newest Employee of the Quarter, and that's Mr. James Burton. Mr. Burton, thank you for being here today.
Listen, I appreciate you for inviting me here.
So just give us a little sense of who Mr. Burton is.
Mr. Burton is a man that came here from working for himself to come to Team Chatham to be an important, hopefully, value at Team Chatham. Exactly.
And you are a very important person here.
Yes.
You work in the old courthouse here in my building, and I see you all the time, and just your smiling face makes me smile every morning because you're always so sweet. You greet us all, but you do important things here in the building. You're with our maintenance division.
Yes.
Tell us exactly what you do.
Well, I'm one of the head custodians at Team Chatham Maintenance Department, and my main job here is to make sure that all of our clients here and all of our customers are taken care of. My thing is to make sure everybody is satisfied. So I always try to give it my best each and every day that I come in here. I always greet everybody with a smile. Once everybody see me and the smile I have, for some reason or another, everybody seems to have that smile as well when I see me in the mornings. And I really do appreciate the smile that I obtain from everyone that comes through the door.
And we appreciate your smile because a lot of times, the employees here, we come in, we come in the door and we hit the door and we're starting to think about all the things that we need to do for the workday. And when we're wrapped up in that, we kind of forget to greet each other and smile. And you remind us to do that.
Yes,
we appreciate that.
Right. And you'd be surprised, just a smile sometimes helps a person through the day. It makes their day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How long have you been at Team Chatham?
I've been here at Team Chatham now going on 4 years.
Okay, 4 years.
Yes.
Where were you prior to that?
Prior to that, I came from the city of Savannah. I retired from the city of Savannah after 38 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
38 years?
38 years.
And then you decided that you weren't done. You just decided to come back here?
Yes, rather than just sit around other than the fact of operating my own business, because I've had my own business of janitorial service for over 30 years now, and rather than just sitting around because that's really done at night, so I just decided I would get out and do something else during the day. So I decided to come to Team Chatham, which is a pleasure to be at Team Chatham.
That's awesome. Yes. Tell us a little bit about your family. It sounds like you're a pretty busy person. Do you have time for your family? You make time for your family?
I make time for my family. My wife helps me out quite a bit, along with my kids and stuff, what I'm saying? But my wife is always there with me 100%, and anything that I decide I want to do, she's right there with me, So I really do appreciate her for that.
That's a good helpmate there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
How many children do you have?
I have 6 boys and 1 girl.
Any grands yet?
I have altogether, last time I counted, Miss Catherine, it was like 23 grands and 1 great grand.
Oh my goodness, 23 grands
Yes.
and one great
One
grand.
great grand. Yes.
Wow. I'm sure they keep you quite busy.
Yes, they do.
You have a lot of little ones to bounce on your knee.
Believe it or not. Yes, I do. Yes.
So in your work experience here, is there an experience that you can think of off the top of your head that kind of inspires you?
What really inspires me is being able to come to work each and every day, you know, and being able to see a smile on everyone else's face. For some reason or another, it just does something to me, you know. And I love doing that on a day-to-day basis, you know. And once I come in and get started and stuff and just see everybody comes along and everybody always speak, everybody has a smile, it just makes my day as well, you know. So I just love that.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So obviously you work a lot.
Yes.
You have an incredible work ethic. You have a very large family.
Yes.
What do you do to just kind of relax? What kind of hobbies do you have?
To tell you the truth, I really don't have a hobby because most of the time I'm working. But if I'm not working, I just like to just maybe sit around and just relax myself, you know, watch a little TV, you know. Once I do that, then I'm good. That's all the relaxation I need, just a TV and remote.
Do you have a favorite TV program?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. you know.
Yeah, I can understand
Yes.
that. Okay, so here we're going to have something called the lightning round.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
All right.
There's no right or wrong answers here.
Okay.
Tell me about what you like the most about your job.
I'm going to say the people.
Okay. What advice would you share with someone else?
The advice I would share with someone else, if you decide to want to become a part of government, try Team CHATham first.
I like that answer.
Yes.
What motto do you live by?
I guess I would say, treat people the way you want to be treated yourself.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food would be collard greens.
Ooh.
Yes.
Good Southern boy, I
Yes.
can tell.
Yes.
All right, here's a really interesting one.
Okay.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. And your last one, your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do would be probably just every once in a while to just get in my car, me by myself, and just cruise around and just relax myself.
I like that
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Burton,
You're
for being
quite
with us
welcome
today.
for
And
everything.
congratulations on
Yes.
being
And
employee
thank
of the
y'all
quarter.
very much for even having me as employee of the quarter.
You are
Thank
very
you.
welcome. Thank
All right,
you,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
2018 continues to move right along. As spring slowly settles in and temperatures begin to rise, so do our chances of severe weather. Have you ever found yourself wondering what the correct course of action is during a natural or man-made disaster? Perhaps you've never been shown the correct way to respond in an emergency. If this sounds like you, don't worry. SEMA has a training program that will ensure you know what to do until help arrives.
What happens when a disaster strikes a community? Do you know what to do in an emergency situation until help arrives?
We're looking for our mom.
If you're not completely sure how to answer these questions, don't worry, you're not alone. After the impact of 2 hurricanes and several tornadoes in less than 2 years, the team at SEMA realized that our community may not be truly prepared to deal with these situations. Everyone has been taught to dial 911 in an emergency, but what do you do until professional help arrives? SEMA made a proactive choice to tackle this issue head-on.
CERT is a Community Emergency Response Team training program, and it's a readiness program for everyday citizens. It's something that anyone in Chatham County can participate in. It's teaching you about basic disaster medical operations, basic fire suppression. It will teach you a little bit about terrorism and active shooter and how you can truly make a difference in between the time that an incident occurs and first medical responders can get there. Can I go in?
CERT provides a realistic approach to disaster situations. Classes are conducted on 3 separate days for a total of 24 training hours. The course consists of lectures, open discussions, and tabletop exercises.
going to be responsible for setting up the 3 different stations where you'll have your immediate, delayed, as well as minor individuals who need to be treated.
CERT participants also practice various emergency scenarios, each taught by a subject matter expert. This ensures that everyone taking part in the CERT training will receive the most current and effective information available from trusted and reliable instructors. On the last day of training, participants test their recently acquired knowledge through the mock disaster simulation.
The class that we just taught in February and March was much larger than what we've ever had. We utilized the coastal bamboo gardens, which is the first time that we developed that relationship with them. We used the bamboo maze, which was absolutely incredible. We used that for our search and rescue simulation. We realized that we had the capability to make the event much larger, and we just wanted to make it happen. We had incredible response. Students really appreciated it, participants really enjoyed all of it, and our volunteers enjoyed making all of it kind of come together.
Once the CERT training is complete, participants may continue to expand their knowledge by joining any of the CEMA organized response teams. These include the Search and Rescue Team, Volunteer Outreach Team, Emergency Operations Center Volunteer, or they may even choose to become a CERT instructor for future training.
If people are interested in joining the next CERT class, they can go to ChathamEmergency.org and click on the Community tab, and then click on Ways to Volunteer with CEMA.
If you've watched the news lately, you've probably noticed an increase in stories relating to the growing drug epidemic plaguing our country. Unfortunately, Chatham County is no exception. However, the brave men and women of our counter-narcotics team are diligently working to keep drugs off our streets. The Savannah Chatham counter-narcotics team recently made the largest bust in their history.
The case that we're here about today was a case that started early back in 2017, where CNT, in a working partnership with the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the United States Postal Inspectors, identified an organization operating throughout Chatham County that was suspected of distributing large amounts of controlled substances throughout our area. And working together, from early 2017 to around October 2017, we identified multiple distribution locations throughout Chatham County, these being locations where the organization was either selling drugs and or storing drugs, as well as we identified approximately 30 key members of the organization to include their roles and responsibilities within the organization. And we also identified that the main source of supply for the organization came from the Houston, Texas area, as well as California. And so after we had all the information and kind of really put our resources together, we were able to determine that some of the main key players of the local organization here were meeting Texas suppliers on March 5th. They reserved meeting at various locations that spanned multiple jurisdictions. And it was one of those perfect storms where we were identifying where the drugs were being stored, where other items of evidentiary value were at, as well as where all the players were at. And with that in mind, we were able to move in and take everyone in custody, minus Mr. Omar Griffin, who's still currently outstanding. And that day, we arrested a number of the key members here for the organization in Chatham County, as well as all 4 Texas distributors that were here locally with the large amount of cocaine. That seizure alone resulted in the seizure of 25 kilos of cocaine. And in the next 2 weeks that followed that, we conducted, I believe it was around 9 or 10 search warrants throughout the Savannah-Chatham area, those being the locations we identified during the investigation, as well as a house in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And ultimately that resulted in large seizures of cocaine, approximately 40 pounds of marijuana, the 21 firearms. Again, most of those were assault rifles and 2 of them returned stolen. And throughout the whole process, we seized a large amount of cash in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of U.S. currency that was being used to purchase drugs and or drug proceeds. So, this is kind of like a real show and tell for the community too, of just one, how dangerous these drugs are, how the organization will go through extreme measures to protect it with a firearm, and also just how profitable this is. And this is why these guys do this. Atlanta, Georgia is a hub for the Southeast region, and that's been documented by the Drug Enforcement Administration. And so Savannah only being a short 4 hours from there, obviously a lot of drugs come down here, plus we have Interstate 95, I-16, which are known drug corridors. So we have a lot of different aspects that make Savannah kind of a popular area for the drug trade. So I don't think it's so much that more drugs are coming. I think that CNT and its partner agencies are just becoming better and better at putting investigations together and not only striking and getting these people, but getting them at a time that you get not only all the persons involved, the majority of them, but also a large seizures at the same time. And that's really how you hurt these organizations, by taking out the top tier of the organization, but also taking all their product and money and proceeds at the same time. You know, because this investigation also resulted in the seizure of multiple vehicles as well. With any other type of police agency, you know, we can't simply be everywhere at one time, right? So we often rely on the public's assistance to try to help be our eyes and ears. And it's very often that we receive drug complaints. Either someone calls in the CNT at 912-652-3900, or they call the Crime Stoppers at 912-234-2020, and they leave their drug complaint. And what I would tell the viewers is no matter how small you think it is, or that may be a bother, you know, still go ahead and report it, because there have been very large investigations that have been started solely from a call-in complaint that we have received. And so however small you think it is, it may be that one piece of the puzzle we're missing to really connect all the dots. And so if you see something, if you suspect it, get as much information you can and call and make us aware. CNT also has a Facebook page under CNT where you can private message us information if you like as well. We're active on that. You know, and we're looking for any and all information that you can give us regarding drug information. And even cases where you're not sure if it's Chatham County or not, send it to us. We're happy to forward it to another agency if we deem it's not.
Coming up after the break, we'll take you out to Lake Mare for the planting of some new trees. And Abby Murphy will stop by and explain all the new features within the county's redesigned website. Stay with us right here on The Chat.
No matter where your daredevils go or what they get into, you can breathe easier because they may qualify for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and Peach Care for Kids. Even if you've applied before, your kids could still be eligible for doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and more. Get your kids covered today. Find free, local, in-person enrollment assistance for Medicaid and Peach Care for Kids. Go to coastalcampaign.org or call 912-661-1290.
Welcome back to The Chat. Chatham County has definitely experienced its fair share of severe weather. Each disaster has the potential to leave a devastating impact on many, if not all, the municipalities within the county. We are fortunate to live in an area where many groups and organizations help to restore the county to its normal state. Let's take a look at the Savannah Tree Foundation's effort to keep Chatham beautiful.
The Savannah Tree Foundation recently planted canopy trees in each of the 9 municipalities within the county for Georgia Arbor Day. In Chatham County, the Tree Foundation and the County Parks and Recreation Department planted 3 red maple trees at the Lake Mare Playground. The new trees will grow to provide much-needed shade for the playground equipment. These trees will also help purify the air, reducing many asthma-related irritants. The maple trees were planted to help communities recover from canopy loss during Hurricanes Matthew and Irma. Funding for the tree planting was provided by the supporters of the Savannah Tree Foundation. Georgia Power provided complimentary black Tupelo seedlings for the public to plant in their own yards.
How well do you know your bark? Not there.
Each of the tree plantings within the municipalities included opportunities for local government employees and volunteers to receive hands-on tree planting experience. Other lessons included how to properly mulch trees, the importance of watering new trees, and the benefits trees provide to our communities. The county's Parks and Recreation Department will continue to work with the Savannah Tree Foundation to ensure that the maple trees are well cared for.
Much of what we do in our daily lives involves the internet. For many of us, it has become our primary source of information and entertainment. As technology continues to evolve, the mediums by which we consume information become smarter and smaller. With that in mind, Team Chatham has redesigned its website for your convenience. Abby Murphy is here to explain how the new design works for you, regardless of what device you choose to use. Abby, tell us all about it.
Thanks, Catherine. As you just mentioned, Team Chatham's webpage recently received a beautiful facelift. However, below the surface are many significant changes to better help residents locate the information they are searching for. One of the first things you will notice is that the content on the webpage is now organized by purpose instead of department. This allows users to navigate the site based on their purpose instead of having to know which department they need. The search bar has also been enhanced, indexing information on a faster basis and is easier to use. A new addition to the site is a chatbot. The Team Chatham chatbot allows users to interact with a semi-artificial intelligence to quickly locate specific information. The chatbot is regularly being updated by the county's IT department. The new website can also be translated into the user's native language. Other improvements to the site include consistency in branding and easier readability. Coloring on the site has changed and is now based on county colors as opposed to a neutral scheme. The website has also been designed to give a new level of personalization. For example, you now have the ability to enter your address and get more localized results, such as a direct link to your commissioner. These are just a few of the changes we have made, but we'll continue to update the site on a regular basis. If you have any suggestions or recommendations regarding features you would like to see added in the future, email us at the address on your screen.
Thanks, Abby. And thank you for joining us today. 2018 continues to be an amazing year for Chatham County, and we're just getting started. Don't forget to join us every month as we continue to explore our county. I'm Catherine Glaspie, and I'll see you next time.